Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Diversity
And equity.
in Education. And it's Sunday evening, the first week in July, and we still here and have not gone on vacation. And that's disheartening and saddening to me. And I'm just depressed about it. I mean, normally I'd be someplace out of the country. So this is kind of a little stressful because I don't know how I personally gonna feel going back to work, knowing I haven't really had a real vacation. So we're gonna dive right in. How you doing, ma'am? Yes.
Who are you?
Oh, that's right. Because you know what? Absolutely, I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas, and you are
April Call from April's Beauty Bar, and we are being hosted by.
the phenomenal and fantastical Bianca Goolsby of Teaching for the Culture.
Now you may
Welcome
proceed.
again. Yeah, welcome again. Man, listen. First of all, I do apologize. Look, I slept most of the day because there was, I guess, it was a buy one get 20,000 free fireworks for yesterday. Because I mean, I swear they actually been popping fireworks since Monday, and for some reason, I mean, it was like cannon explosions at my house. I felt the windows tremble, and I want to say thank God for the fact that I'm gonna tell you, but God is a good God because every year for the past 4 or 5 years, it has always rained on the 4th of July, which is good because, with the amount of fireworks and explosions and anything related to or pertaining to fire, at least the yard was wet, the trees were wet, the roof was wet, the car was wet. And so when anything came down, it wasn't going to set my house on fire. And thank you, Lord, for another year of your blessings. So I'm happy all about that. Now, of course, I couldn't sleep because up until 3, 4 in the morning, I was like, did y'all who give you that many fireworks? Cannon size fireworks was going off. So I slept in the day, and so I'm pretty much fresh and awake right now. So that's my life. That's how I spent my last evening. Yourself, April. How about you?
It was pretty quiet over here because I live in the Busch Gardens area, and they are not having Busch Gardens summer nights. So I have not heard
Mm.
fireworks because normally I would have started to begin to hear the fireworks, I think June 1st, and it would go all the way to the end of August, if not early September.
Yeah.
So I am excited that at 9 o'clock every night I do not hear fireworks. So I'm good. I'm ecstatic.
The thing about it is, even though I'm a little further away, I still hear them Busch Gardens fireworks. So yeah, but at least it's not as powerful as it would be by you. But last night they made up for every firework I missed because I felt them in my spirit. I mean, and then let me just give people a little bit of advice, okay? If you live in an area that's near a lot of trees, please move more out into the street to set off your fireworks because you're setting fireworks straight up into trees, man. Trees. And by the way, there's lines, Pico lines, cable lines. Please just be more conscientious when you're setting things off. Okay, just don't set it off and then set off the whole neighborhood. Please don't. But I appreciate it that we all made it through. So here we are now. It's Sunday. It's just another dreaded day closer to all of the Hillsborough County school employees going back to work. Now, I don't know how everybody else feel about work, and this is a time where we really want this show to be as interactive as possible today because we want to hear from the teachers. We really want to hear from admin. If you're all on the line, we would love to hear from school board. We just love to hear from y'all because I mean everyone wants to act like this thing doesn't exist, but we all know that it is out there. Remember, we're reading Facebook posts just like you're reading Facebook posts. And when people are posting stuff like it's at this school and it's at that school and they have to close this school down and people haven't got to go to work. I mean, how do you expect us to feel safe?
Well,
How
what,
do you
what, but
expect us to feel safe?
what's the it though? That's the question. What is the it that you're referring to?
The it I'm referring to is COVID-19. The one where I'm actually looking at the TV right now. Let me tell you, because I like to give you the data as it comes across the screen, okay? Right now, there are 2,874,936 cases in the United States. There are 129,870 deaths in the United States. So now, we've topped, of course, every other country because all the other countries try to keep theirs under a million. But we know we got to be number one. We're number one, America. You know how that goes. So my question to everybody is, we're going into a school, and so far all summer long, even before we left in March, I have been seeing people running around, adults and children, without masks, not social distancing, all the stuff like that. So now the CDC is recommended to have them spread apart, have them wear masks, have the hand sanitizer, have all the stuff that they talked about in the in the school. But if I've just seen a video, not even 8 hours ago, with a whole mass of kids hanging out and partying and have a good time. How do you think we can logically control those kids in school? And I really want real responses. I need people to jump in and have this discussion with us. Are you able to see some comments? Let me pull up some stuff real quick. What they say over here? Because I need participation. Let's see where we at right now. I'm stuck in my headphone. Hold on, y'all.
So along those same lines that Denise is referencing, it's frustrating to be in a place where we don't know all the details, and we understand that there's going to be the fine details that not necessarily that we need to know, but the big overview, the big picture of what things are going to look like. It would be nice if the teachers, the majority of the stakeholders in this, outside of the students being the number one stakeholder, teachers fall next. It would be nice if we were in tune to know, to be made more comfortable about this process. So I just know that, so much conversation now to forefront of Hillsborough County lately, and that's a great thing. And it's also a good thing to see that people that have been dormant, for the sake of a good word to describe it as, but have done wonderful things in the past that we were not privy to know about or experience in education, that now that they have been awakening to say, hey, we've been doing this too, and we've been talking about this too, but now let's not talk about how it's being done. Let's put in the work to be able to make it get done, the moving forward work. So right now, the moving forward work that teachers need and parents need and the community need is transparency about this process. Because again, there are just as many that want to go back that do not want to go back because of health reasons, along with health reasons for their children. So it just would be nice if the blanket information wasn't put out there, and then information that was needed before making decisions wasn't put out. It's just really confusing, and it just becomes frustrating for teachers, for parents, and let's not include more trauma. That's what it is, more trauma, because we also experienced COVID. We also experienced all the George Floyd murder right there, plastered across, the United States for the world to see, not just the United States, for the world to see. We also saw the Breonna Taylor situation. Like, we've seen all of the Elijahs. Like, the names go on, but again, it's like, teachers, go back. We'll tell you what to do later. No, that's not right. That's not right.
And the information that's coming out to us is, for lack of a better word, just very haphazard. 1 minute you got a plan, another minute you got a suggestion. By the very nature of the fact that people are calling the designation form a survey, lets you know that it's confusing to people. It's really people are confused about what's going to happen, and especially teachers. But you have to look at it from this perspective too. If you have children in your house, you know what your kids do. You know them, right? You know that your kids come home, they might throw their backpack on the ground. That backpack has probably been everywhere. They might not empty that backpack out, clean that backpack out. It's come into contact with other people. It's been dragged on the bathroom floor. Okay, so now these are things. A lot of times, these are things that the average person doesn't think about, but a teacher keeps constantly having these thoughts in their mind. Because remember, okay, let me tell you one of the most touched items, one of the items that can be touched the most, and germs can pass easily through, is your hall pass. Now I don't know how some people use their hall passes, right? But some teachers have hall passes that it's one pass that every child must use. Now, what if that you got a child that needs to go to the bathroom in the same class period? The child got to go to the bathroom. Another child got to go to the office. Another child got to go to, another teacher called them just to use the pass to go over there. So you've got an item now that everyone has to touch in order for them to go someplace.
And
No
I
one
don't
is even
believe,
thinking down to that level.
right. I don't think
You know what I'm saying?
the conversations may be happening. We're not saying that they aren't. We just know that being that we're just in the unknown, we're making assumptions about what's not happening. But what I can almost put a good wager on is that they're not thinking about it from a perspective of a teacher or a student. They got to think
Mm-hmm.
about it from the perspective of a student, because remember, they left school in March, spring break, everything was what they considered to be normal. They've never seen
Mm-hmm.
anything like this. They've never experienced it. So for students that are, I would say maybe, I would even go up to like 9th, 10th grade and below, their normal behaviors are to touch, kick, hit, feel, smack, put down, throw away. I mean, we could just name all the verbs to go along with it as well, to say
Right.
their minds have not been reprogrammed, that when, for those that go into brick and mortar, or parents choose to go to brick and mortar to send their child, that their behaviors have to change as well. That's not normal because
Mm-hmm.
they've not been trained in the environment to do that. So
Right.
again, those classrooms rules and expectations are all things that are the students are trained, or teach them how to do in efforts for a specific culture in the classroom. So they got to learn an
Mm-hmm.
entire new culture for school, period, to include the bus. That's an entire different culture.
Right. And when you're thinking about that, remember you think about the amount of trips a bus has to take. Because okay, well if you can't have them sitting all next to each other, what time does that bus need to start rolling? 3 a.m. to get everybody to school on time?
That's a good question.
Okay. I mean, let's be real. If the amount of kids that got a bus, if you normally pack a bus full, now you can't. How? What time you need to get up to get to school? Or now does that take you out of the physical brick and mortar equation now because of the fact that hey, you live in a certain place where it's just going to be impossible to get you to school on time. Other
And
things
we
to
experienced
consider
that
now.
already in the district, being that there are like 26 buses
Right.
come to my school. But let me just give a range,
Yes.
because people like to quote us. There's more than 20 buses that come to my site. Majority of
Correct.
my students ride the
Correct.
bus from the inner city area. So with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, let's say hi to a few people that are on
Oh, there's a
here.
lot of people on it.
We
Hey y'all.
AP McPherson, Gretchen. Okay, Cobb. All right, all right.
Neighbors have fireworks going till 2:30. That's what AP McPherson said.
That's
Wow.
what I was trying to read.
Kimberly, I'm telling you, Kimberly sounded like the cannons were outside my place. It was crazy. Wow. It was going on
Yes.
till 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. Already know they're going to get started tonight. We know that because they're still popping them. Heard fireworks in Temple Terrace. Terry
Hmm.
says, I retired just in time. School official craziness. Right. Exactly. Hey, Marco. How you doing? Hey, Ashley. Hillsborough County Schools better get it right. We're not ready to open. You said it.
So Gretchen said
I'm
that
moving again.
she agreed that as a former early childhood educator, what would that look like? Like the kids are going to
Mm-hmm.
feel as though they're being punished in certain situations based upon their level of intellect, because
Mm-hmm.
as a tot well, not a toddler, I'm showing my age, as a pre-K and VPK student, and
Mm-hmm.
even kindergarten and first grade, those are part of their natural culture to hug on their teachers. That's why I don't teach
That's
elementary.
right.
To
Thank you.
high five and fist pump and all that good stuff. Those are part of their everyday culture in school. So some of them are not going to be able to understand, or wrap their head around, like, why is it that I gotta be I can't really get too close to my friends. I can't really talk as much as I used to talk. I can't, like, it's going to be Again, more traumatic experiences placed
Trauma for the
upon the
children.
child. Yep.
Because they're kids, and kids always want to be held and touched. So Heather says, we've been surveyed a lot in Pinellas, but I haven't seen plans. I also don't want to decide yet. My child needs some human interaction, but I need particulars before I'm willing to commit. Exactly what we're saying. Can I get some details? Can you break down the plan? Help me understand what's best for me. Terry said the more transparency is claimed by the district, the more we're in the dark.
And I will say this, speaking from a parent's
Wow.
perspective, because I do have
Wow.
caretake for two fabulous, the two pack, and
Get the
I
pack.
know that I just remove myself from, because this ain't about being the educator part of it. For me, for as a parent, like making the best decision for them. Now, one of my two pack has underlying health issues. He's acquired pneumonia on more than one occasions. Where he had to be out of school for weeks at a time. He was able to stay caught up because I stayed caught up and, made sure I stayed, in
Mm-hmm.
touch with his teachers. But, that's because I had to be very intentional about it. So, I had to be up in the wee hours when he was feeling okay to do the work in order for to get the work done. So that sometimes like 2 in the morning when he feeling okay, 1 in the morning, 12 at night, whenever we needed to get it done, we got it done so that he didn't get behind. But to fast forward to what we're talking about, being that he had those underlying issues, it leaves behind I'm not a doctor, so y'all don't quote me on this. Like a
Mm-hmm.
remnants of what you've had before. Like it doesn't go completely away. Like once you have pneumonia, you could cure it to a certain point. And this is what the doctor kind of explained to me, but it leaves behind underlying health issues. It leaves behind damage. So therefore he
Mm-hmm.
has respiratory problems. That's just the bottom line. And this disease, COVID, not disease, this virus, COVID, is primarily attack the lungs. So it would be
Right.
insane for me to send him to school before January. It would be insane for me to do that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the other twin is like healthy, don't have any problems, rarely get sick outside of a stuffy nose or a runny nose. But then he would go to school, possibly become exposed, and bring it back home to the brother that has those respiratory issues. And we're not going to talk about my asthmatic situation where them children caught the kids knew to stay out of my immediate space because they know I get
Right.
sick so easily. And that's included with me wiping down the desk several times a day with Clorox wipes that I purchased or they were donated to my classroom. That includes sweeping my own floors daily, swept in my classroom at least twice a week with the pads and everything that I purchased out of my dollars. And the list goes on and on with wiping the door handles. The Lysol about choked me out in the room trying to prepare it after lunchtime so that there's time for it to clean it. Like it's just crazy the amount of efforts
Right.
that have to go in to make a true conscious decision to send my kid back to school, because I know the things that I had to do to make sure that my space was
Mm-hmm.
as sanitary as possible. But I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if other teachers are doing those things. I don't know that. So
Right.
I
And
have
and, and it,
parents are posed with making the best decision that they can, and it does not mean that it's the let me correct that. They're making the easiest choice for their children, but it may not be the best decision because
best
it's all
choice.
that's available. It's all that's available.
Right. Right, right. And so and I'm going to go back again and reference the video that you made earlier last week. So please go over and look at that video about the choices that we have. I think both of us posted it back onto our page about the choices I have. The district has given us only option A, and from option A, there's the three choices. And so it's really important too, just to stress the fact that especially when it comes to the online learning. Remember, e-learning is different from Hillsborough Virtual School, and that in the fact that the e-learning is that's us. If I'm e-learning and I'm teaching you, you can contact me. But virtual school, there's a whole other set of teachers that are not tied to your local school. So just that's something that's very important that people need to keep in mind. But just really quick, there's a lot of comments are coming in. Christina is talking about, is this the rally that's tomorrow on Tuesday? It's a long post. I'm not going to read the post. It's very, very long, but it does give you the detail, the time, the location, what you need to social distancing. You need to wear your mask for the rally that's going to take place on Tuesday because, we don't know what the district's talking about. Um, Terry, the district is thinking dollars first, right? Heather says, I really worry about our ESC kids, which is so true. How are we going to meet the services of those kids? Those kids need resources and plenty of services. What are we going to do about those kids? Camilla, buses already have to double run at 2 times the capacity. Now they can only operate at 50% capacity. Right. So now what's going to happen there? Cafeteria. Hey, Claire is watching. Sabrina. Tequila, how you doing? See the rally announcement above? Okay, thank you. Yes, we have that. Okay. Let's see. It's sad that Hillsborough County schools need to get right with reading literacy. African American children need to learn to read more. Okay, yeah. We 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 constantly fighting that good fight, Gretchen. Thank you for that right there. Okay, we really are. Well, we are truly trying to figure out where we're going to go from there. Go ahead.
And also we have Love and Life Jones. Miss Jones, she says, I'm stressed out about going back to work. I work in the front office and I'm not comfortable. And see, and that right there, I think we as the people that even individuals that have to send their kids back to school, I want you to think about what our day-to-day is from every perspective of the individuals on a campus that makes it happen. There's main office, there's the front office staff. Just think about the number of people that come in and out that we don't know if they have a high fever. We don't know if they've been out of the country. Right. Like there's so many different variables of the unknown that you're not privy to ask them. There's a notice on the outside of doors that have been posted during the summer. But to be honest, I don't think the majority even read the notices. They just know that I got to get into the office and I need to get whatever task that I have come to do done. So again, and you can't challenge anyone on saying, I saw you on social media and you was out there at the Busch Gardens, and I saw, like, you can see people have done things, but you can't mandate that a parent tell you all those fine details. And in all actuality, trust me, nobody wants to know. But the key thing is that alone places the office staff, at a uneasy in a position of being uneasy, because I would be like, I don't want you handing me anything. I don't want to walk over to the area where students are signing in and they may be having trouble. I don't want to do any of that, because those people coming in and out of the office could probably heighten the whole situation more so than the children in your day-to-day classrooms.
And also, you got to think about things like this. What about the kids who are office workers? Like they're part of their elective. They're like we call the TAs. Okay, so you got a teacher assistant that their job is to be the runner. They run all the errands, they run back and forth. So now they are going from class to class, doing all kind of things for the different teachers. Okay, run me 50 copies and do this and do that and drop this note off to the nurse office. And that's a person, that's rather a position now that you really can't have in school if you're going to have school back brick and mortar, because that child should not be moving around like that. So it's like people, it's like, really in the day-to-day of school. That's why I really think a lot of people need to come by, and now it's summertime.
Not now.
Walk around the school. Walk around the school and look at all the places that kids could go. And you're gonna tell me that you're gonna sit them in a classroom. And then here's the disparity too. Okay, right. And she's also asthmatic, so there you go. Okay, but here's the disparity too. You have some counties that already have their shields up. They've got their materials. Then you have our county. Whatever, go to work. How you think it make the teachers feel? How do you think the morale feels? How you think people don't you think also it's gonna make some teachers be like, look, man, hey, this might not be my year to go back. I gotta try and find something else to do. Anybody
and there are quite a few individuals that I know are saying that. Like even Ms. Jones just said she feels like walking away. There are a lot of people that, people that are married, people that are in relationships, you putting yourself at risk to where you could acquire a virus that could kill you. Now, I know that for me, I've been inside. That's just it. Very limited outside exposure from the home. I would say I've probably been outside for the number of days that we've been off. Less than 5%, if that. Well, I'll say 10%. Just make it higher, 10%. And those places have been grocery store, same grocery store, which I found out Publix got some. Here got some people that got the Rona, so I ain't been back up there since then. And they put it out there. I'm not going back. So
let me know. I ain't trying to be over there.
And then there's also, to Denise's house, maybe to pick up food or whatever it is. But it's just a walk up, pick up the food, get back in the car, and go.
Exactly.
Everything down. Like, it is crazy. And let me tell y'all what my anxiety does because of that. That's what I'm trying to get myself psychologically ready for this. In my mind, I am healthy when I leave home. By the time I go to the grocery store and back,
Yes.
I
Yes.
have developed some kind of way. I have COVID.
Paranoia.
N95 mask. I have Clorox wipe myself, hands all the way up to my elbows down. Come immediately, put the shoes at the door, take off the clothes, take a shower, and still in my mind, I have
I
acquired
think I
COVID
got
somewhere. And listen how bad it is. I even
it. Yes.
breathe differently. I start developing a cough that didn't exist, and it's all in my head. And I know that I have to say to myself, "Calm, stop."
Yes. Stop
So
it.
imagine me
Look,
going back to work.
to work. Thank you.
I don't even know
Thank
how I'm
you.
going to control it.
Because this is how I think. I know I'm aging, so I know. Sometimes when I lay in the bed a little, long or wrong, I'm stiff. The minute I feel an ache and pain, the first thing I say, Lord, it's the time. I ain't ready to go yet, Lord. And it's just like you associate every single thing, and all it could be is just that you haven't stretched for the morning yet. You're like, go stretch and eat some breakfast. But it's just as simple as that, but you associate everything with getting sick, and it's like, oh my god, I'm driving myself insane. And remember, just like you said, we by ourselves. Now imagine now you telling me I gotta go. What the fact that we've read articles, and I wish Bianca, I forgot to send you the article, but I wish I could pull up the article where I know it was either, I don't want to claim the state because I don't want to be incorrect, but a staff went back to work, and a couple of the teachers, they went, and it was just during their pre-planning, and they went back to work, and half of them came back and they all got sick. And there was nobody there but just staff. There was no kids there. It was just the staff members that went back into work, and they all got COVID. The one guy had a birthday party he went to, made everybody sick. Another one had a wedding he went to, went to the groom of the wedding, got sick, got 18 people sick. It's like, okay, I get where y'all coming from, how you really want us to be open, but you don't see what's happening. You really don't see what's happening. And of
And
course,
Heather
once
said,
again, from the top down, the leadership.
yep. Heather says lots of teachers are married to other teachers or government workers and have kids in school. We're looking at, hold on. Y'all know why my computer doing this. We're
Double
looking
and triple
at
exposure.
double and triple exposure is what I'm assuming. Yeah, exposures with fully open schools. You are absolutely
Yes.
correct, Heather. So I just really don't think it's about the dollar. And I don't know where we reached a place in human as being humans
Right.
to think that it's no indifferent than you just saying, well, let's play Russian roulette. It's no indifferent.
Yeah.
One is more graphic than the other until you see somebody in the hospital. Oh, you can't go to the hospital to watch them die. I forgot about
Well,
that.
first of all, there's no room in the hospital because there's a lot of stuff that's being suppressed. It's like so many things are happening out there that like the media must have been told, don't release these numbers, don't say that. Don't tell anybody people getting sick. Now, isn't it interesting? Just like we've the abuse that we've always been receiving, we busy telling y'all what's happening, but 90%, or and let me throw those numbers. The backlash is, oh, why y'all gotta say that? Why y'all to tell this? Because it's the truth. It's the truth.
Girl, you know we progressive disgruntled teachers. Now, why are you saying that? We progressive disgruntled teachers. That's why we tell the truth. And you know, we just started talking about this. This is all brand new, right?
Right.
And individuals that are bringing forth the facts are the ones that get viewed as the problem. Now, I wish what my grandma used to say, for every finger you point, there's one point back at you. Now, keep in mind,
there's 7 point back.
But look, the individuals that's saying you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be sharing that, you shouldn't be what they call it right now, bullying people. You shouldn't be what's another word they be saying? You just shouldn't
exposing
be in
stuff or whatever.
You should. Well, the question is, what you've been doing? This one right here.
Right, because it's coming back this way. It's coming back this way. Correct.
And why you only talking when it's something that you feel that you're not getting credit for?
Because what you should be doing is getting me this PPE equipment. If you don't get nothing else for the kids that's coming in, I would like, let me tell you, let me place my list right now. I need a mask. I need a mask all around my head. I need the full suit, the entire hazmat suit. I need Clorox wipes. I need spray. So if you're gonna say I'm saying, oh, I'm so negative, I'm talking about I'm gonna die on the job. Well, help me live on the job. How about that? Just see how I have all these sponsors who like I have adopt a class. I went so far as okay, listen, I'm at 403 over at Young Middle Magnet since you need to know where it come on through. 403 needs supplies, okay? That's first of all. Second, people will adopt. I don't just adopt the classroom. I want you to adopt per class. So that's how. Guess what? That's how I was able to survive last year. I was like, this class period need this period need that, this period. Because if you think that children will use one Clorox wipe for an entire 8-hour day, you must be crazy. I could easily go through a container of Clorox wipes in a week because if you happen to leave it out by mistake. No, I have to keep. I have to put it back. But see what it is, because if I happen to leave it out by mistake, everybody take a wipe to wipe off their J's. Because remember, your J's got to stay fresh all day. So they don't seem to understand that you could blast through wipes like this. So
I know for a fact I use at least a container. The small one
every 2 days.
The small one, that's a week worth. The little small one is a week worth. Because I said I wipe the desk at lunchtime, after lunchtime, and then they're able to dry during my fourth planning, and then we're able to get through the rest of the day. So yeah, you're right about that. Now the bigger container, I just had thought about it was a bigger container. Fakila Dinette says, which is our licensed mental health counselor on board, that's speaking right now. She says the virus has increased anxiety and stress. I could not imagine. As an adult, I know it has done that for me. Ashley says California. I'm assuming, Ashley, you're referring to when Denise was talking about the different scenarios about the classrooms that have become.
Yes, California.
And we also have, Heather says lots of teachers. Oh, nope, got that.
Is anyone looking at the numbers in science? Right.
Oh yeah. I'm concerned about how sanitation will be handled by the janitorial staff. Let's talk about that.
Followed by Regina. Look what Regina said. Last I looked, about 30 custodian positions opened up. Wonder why? Legs, please. Can I get some legs? Because
no people took flight.
Take flight.
That's crazy.
Why custodial positions are open? Let's think about that. Maybe that's a hazardous job that nobody don't want. And now you want me to go in there with no custodial worker? Can I put the astronauts up? Because we like this. We're just insane right now. We don't even know what's going to happen. Launch us off to the moon. Launch us. Take flight.
So
because go ahead.
I just don't understand. Like I keep wrapping my head around. I know we got to go back. I know that no one's denying that we have to go back, but we need to go back when it's safe to go back. And right now, I feel as though that teachers at specific sites need to be trying to identify some commonalities as it relates to what math is going to look like in 6th grade, what it's going to look like for 7th grade. Because last time, let's go back a little bit further. The Model A that was chosen for Hillsborough County Public Schools has 3 tiers underneath it. And I'm just referring to them as tiers or components or subcategories, whatever you want to refer to them as. First one is traditional. That's your brick and mortar. That means your children are going back to school with some type of special precautions as it relates to social distancing as much as they can. See, everybody want to harp on that 6 feet. The district not in the documentation that they put out, they're just saying as best as they can. That 6 feet not happening. I don't want y'all to think that 6 feet is happening as of right now, but it's labeled, it's stated. And then the masks are not mandatory as of what's right now. Now, what's coming down tomorrow when the number 45 the minion speaks, I don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen, but that's weird because I thought our governor just was gonna do better. But anyway, and then you have your e-learning. Like Denise said, e-learning means that it's site-based e-learning. Now, what will it look different than what we was dealing with during the end of the school year? Most definitely. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what that's going to look like, I can't say that, but I know a lot of teachers will go in with more experience now. So yes, it would look indifferent. The tone or the feeling of the actual process would look different or feel different.
Different.
But how
Mm-hmm.
much of a difference? No, I don't think anyone can say that until we actually get there. Because again, this is site-based e-learning, meaning the teachers that work at the school, they will be responsible for providing e-learning. We don't know what that look like. We just know what the description is. And then there's your Hillsborough Virtual School. That's where it's a total separate entity, but this is Hillsborough's version of Florida Virtual School. Florida Virtual School can
Right.
be any child in the states that particular school district, except that particular high school diploma if they choose to go through that all the way through high school. But Hillsborough Virtual School, meaning that if you want to know what it really means, the dollars stay in Hillsborough County if they go to
Right.
Hillsborough Virtual School. The dollars go with the child if they go to Florida
Right.
Virtual School. That's a separate entity.
Correct.
Any child can go to
Mm-hmm.
Florida Virtual School. They don't have to even live in Florida, but they can go to Florida Virtual School. So,
Right. Right.
in the event, what is this doing? Any event, whatever choice you make, your child is going to be impacted by it. Families are going to be impacted by it, regardless. The question becomes, what level of risk are you willing to take? That's the true question.
Mm-hmm.
Because either way it
Exactly.
goes, if some of us got to go back to work, and they're telling you got to come to work, what risk are you taking there? Are you going to be able to say, I got to go find another job? Or are you going to say, like, there's going to be risk associated with it all. But the risk should not be completely on the soul of a teacher being told you got to go back and that's final. We should not be
Right.
imposed with that risk of saying we're essential workers, because I never knew I
And
was an
then
essential worker. I never knew that.
right. And then the fact that you're playing a game of death with teachers because you're saying, well, which one of us is actually strong enough to come to work versus which one of us gonna have the privilege. Who's gonna make the determination of saying, well, you privileged because you're older, you got more right to stay home because you got pre-existing condition. Somebody might say, hey, listen, this year, this might for the married folk or whoever, even if you're not married, this be the year somebody say, I gotta go ahead and get pregnant real fast, real quick, so I can stay home, okay? Because thoughts have crossed people's mind, okay? That those people I spoke to, you got all kinds of situations where it's like how can I put myself in the high risk category so I can stay home and force all the other ones to come to work? I mean, so you're creating a hostile environment. That's first of all. Second, look, we only get what is it, 10 days of sick leave? How much sick leave? So you're telling us that if I get sick on while on the job that you forced me to go to, that I'm going to use up the sick leave. But wait a minute. The CDC and Dr. Fauci and all them say you need 14 days to recover, 14 days in quarantine. But you want to give me 10 sick leaves, so I got to go cut into my personal leave too. So is it fair that I'm using my stuff because you forced me to be put into a situation where I get sick? Questions. That's all. Questions. I'm just
And I'm
asking
just going to
questions.
say, in the latter part of December, I and
Just
one of my
asking
friends
questions.
got so sick. When I tell you we got sick out of the blue, it was like, if COVID is anything like that, if it's anything
You
like
got it
that,
in January.
I don't think I can make it. Because I went from totally fine to within 24 hours, I could not get out of the bed. This is
Yes.
before it was
Mm-hmm.
even being said that COVID was over here in the States. I'm telling you all, if it's anything like that, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. I could
No.
not get out of the bed. I could
No.
not.
Mm-mm.
Liquids, the cold chills, the fevers, the
All
like
that.
it was crazy. And I'm telling you, I've never said anything like, as far as I felt like I was going to die outside of having a child, but I felt like I was going to die. It felt like bricks on my chest. I have never went to go. I've not went tested to go see if I'm what you call it, already had it before, but I'm almost
Right.
positive like
Right.
I felt like that. But again, I have asthma, so it could have just been a bad
Right.
case of the flu, what they labeled it as the
Mm.
flu.
or pneumonia. Sometimes the pneumonia acts up like that. So
Well,
now,
no,
who's
she had
Tiffany?
pneumonia. They diagnosed me with the flu.
Oh, okay. Tiffany says, did I hear the district buildings are? Oh, did I hear that district buildings are dropping back to 50% starting tomorrow? We need receipts. If you heard that, we need a receipt to go with that because we have to verify. Let's see. That's when we start to burn all of our sick and personal days. It'll take longer than 14 days. Yeah, it's bound to take longer than 14 days. Now, people who truly have it, and because listen, I've actually looked at the ones who really recovered, right? Or they've been intubated. They have been. I talked to my sister for a long time. She said the things that you got to do when you go through, you lose lung capacity first of all.
Yes.
Then your entire you lose so much weight because if you're intubated, right? Remember, it's something that goes down your throat, so you have to be fed that way. So of course you're going to lose weight because you're not moving around. You're not. Your machine is breathing for you. You know. So for people who truly have had a horrific case of it, they ain't coming out of it looking like $1,000,000. They coming out of it looking like, for lack of a better word, a hot mess. Okay, because their body has damaged from all the things that had to take place and what had to happen to them during the time they were in the hospital. And on top of that, bed sores is another thing because you're laying down so long, ma'am. Question?
They're not gonna come out of it looking like what?
They're not gonna come out of it looking beautiful and looking all attractive and perfect.
Are
They're
you
gonna look like a
sure
hot
about
mess.
that? Are you sure?
Because if you had a full blown case of coronavirus and because you have to be intubated, you have to have machines breathing for you, you've had to lay back, you've had to have IVs in you, you've had to have because it's damaging your lung capacity. So you're never gonna get your lung capacity back, and it's gonna be worse if you were a smoker, previously smoked. It's gonna be worse for you because you're damaging your lung capacity. So if you coming out of there and you say you looking like $1,000,000 off, you ain't had COVID, you just had a touch of the flu. You barely had a cold. Maybe you had an eye infection. Maybe you had some pink eye or something. I don't know what the hell you had. But you damn sure you had no cold.
All right, here we
and
go.
then, and then
Look, since
that comes
everybody
from a
else get to
medical
speak as an
doctor.
expert, hold on, and don't come
A
from my
medical
friend.
doctor.
Nobody else speaking as expert. She can
Because
speak as an
because
expert too.
because I got a medical doctor's 3 in my family. So I mean, come on, let's go. Run it.
All right, Latanya Hayes says, I agree. What is going on? I agree
Who's
that
on your
there
phone?
needs to be complete transparency about what is really happening. But at the end of the day, what is the solution? Latanya, we said that from the beginning, sweet pea. We don't know. We don't know. And like I said, I made the easiest decision for my 2-pack, and those are recommendations that I made for my family members. You know, like majority of the kids that are in the family now, these two are well, no, they're not. I was going to say these two are the youngest. These two are the youngest that are in my care, but we have some younger and all boys. The majority, there are some girls. But the bottom line is you have to make the easiest decision that's going to work for your family. But then the next question is, what's the risk? What's your risk? The
Right.
easiest decision, because no decision that you make, in my opinion, is going to be the best. Because the best decision would be it would work out ideally for the best interest of your child. Because keeping them home for e-learning is not what I would want my kids, not e-learning. Here's what virtual, that's not the best decision for them. It's the easiest. It's going to work, but it's not going to give them the same type of education that they're used to, and that's going to stimulate their minds. You know, they're going to be able to, be very stationary at these tables, and it's just not the best. But you have to do what's best for your family, I should say.
Miss, thank you for the receipt.
I am so paranoid that I don't leave my house, supposed to be reported on 7/13. So I could not imagine how you're feeling right now, because I have been trying to get my mind together, with knowing I got to go back, but I just could not imagine how that feel. I could not imagine. I couldn't imagine. Christina said
all employees. Go ahead.
No, do you see it? You can read. My throat getting dry.
Okay. All right. I've got so Heather says all employees should be eligible for 80 hours of emergency paid sick leave from the CARES Act. It's still only 2 weeks though. It's a recovery process, correct. Patsy said the email from the superintendent Davis, yes, 50%. Velasco or maybe Rosak employee posted it on a CTA Facebook today. But the real question is, why?
Why? Could it have anything to do with? And again, we don't have no receipts on this, but there are individuals that are sharing that at specific sites, there has been cases of COVID.
Correct.
But the question now is, do parents, do community members have a right to know that information? Or
No.
yeah, like do they have the right to know this? Because as the largest employer in the state of in Hillsborough County, with the largest clientele in Hillsborough County, I think that we have a right to know.
We do. We have 233,000 students.
Let's get them the right number. Yeah, we go. 200. We're almost at 225,000
in our district. That's the number. Now imagine. Now I'm gonna just break. Let me make like with teachers. What we do, I'm gonna break this down into sizable chunks that you can manage. I come from the Virgin Islands. There are 3 islands. Okay, the total population of the 3 islands is 100,000 people. 100,000. So all the kids in Hillsborough County is double the amount of people in the Virgin Islands. Now imagine at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 sites, kids are coming up positive, and you're gonna just like that spread explosion, because we can't control that. We cannot control what happens when they leave the classroom and go from class to class, then jump on a bus or jump in a car and go around auntie house, grandma house, my daddy. This weekend I'm going here. I gotta go to the store. I'm going to my friend's house. Oh, and I don't want to put my mask on. It's gonna spread like wildfire. But that's just, and guess what? That's just the kids. We haven't talked about the thousands of teachers. We haven't talked about admin. We haven't talked about the secretaries, the nurses.
I think it was 16,000.
16,000.
A little over 16,000.
So we're not talking about any of those other people. And Joan, she just shared with us, working in the front office, you areas where you just don't think about people working, the cafeteria staff, custodial staff. What about the maintenance guys that come in to fix things randomly? They don't work in the school, but they just pop in and out to repair things like the window and the water fountain, things like that. Okay? So you're talking about a living,
I know the water fountain has got to be shut down. The water fountain got to be shut down. We don't clean the water fountains all day. They got to be shut down.
This is what I need to do. I invite the school board to come through and have a sip from the water fountain the first day of school. When the first day of school finished, come on through and have a sip off that water fountain. Just come through. If you feel it's that safe, come on through, have a sip. Mine is up in my building, the 400 building. You can slide on through.
Heather says we got parents on the PTA page in our school talking about their free-spirited kids not wanting to wear uniforms. But we think we can keep those free-spirited kindergartens in masks.
That's cute.
Legs, Leah. Heather.
Legs.
Let's get some legs. Heather. Girl.
What are they gonna do? They gonna wear? Listen, the mask gonna be like this, just like this. Watch my glasses, like this. That's how the mask gonna be on their face, just like this, just like this. Breathing hard, man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, what somebody said? Christina said the district wanted the bathrooms open all day at school site. Really, who cleaning them? Remember, didn't somebody just say that the 30 custodial positions open?
Yeah.
It's so sad. It's funny. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Velasco, Tiffany says Velasco or maybe Rozak employee posted on CTA Facebook today. What was it that they posted? Let me go back.
Yes.
Oh, about the yeah. I saw that.
But the building being closed? Yeah.
And teacher for the court saying the water got lead in it.
Astronaut. Give me the astronaut. We gotta take flight. We can't be in our school no more. Take flight. Send them astronauts up there too while we at it, because I can't. We just scream it out. I want to blast off in space because I can't stay on this planet no more. I can't even do it no more. I can't.
Parents, y'all have to, based upon what has been put out there up until this point, you all have till July 10th, which is this upcoming, is that Friday?
It's Friday.
To make a decision to enter the declaration of to complete your declaration of intent. I don't know why the word survey started to float back around amongst a school board member or members and candidates, but I read it for myself
It's not
as
a
a
survey.
parent, as a parent, as a parent. I read it. I had to enter my child's clever login information, which included their student number and their password. I had to make a selection from model A, one of the three choices.
Mm-hmm.
And then right before I hit submit or send, it said, this is a 18-week commitment. And I
Correct.
cannot change that commitment once I hit good old submit, with the understanding it is a declaration of an intent, meaning that I intend to commit to 18 weeks, meaning that I cannot make any
Right.
changes until January. Now, the wording may have changed since then, based upon the response that the district may have received in regards to that. The language may be indifferent of what it may have intended to be something else versus what individuals like myself take the time to pull passages apart and words. I need to be clear on what it means. But a
Yes.
declaration of intent is
Mm-hmm.
almost like a contract. It's like you enter into a
Right.
contract to basically say,
Look at it. It's the declaration. You're declaring your intent, what you intend to do. Break it down. Remember, I teach
mhm,
reading now. Okay, declaring your intent. It ain't no survey. It ain't no I hope or maybe. And remember, you're locked in. And how many of y'all ever bought a car? And then what they do? They repo that car if you because you were locked in to that payment schedule until the car paid off. You locked in for 18 weeks. Now the concern is if what if you move? What if something happened, the house burned down, and now you got to move? That same child that was going to a brick and mortar school now has to go and do online. Where the contingency plan for that? So there's a lot of strange factors out there concerning this particular form. So just
mhm,
know what you need to know before you sign something. And
before
then of
you hit
course remember
submit.
the default. But the
And
default is what?
there's a different declaration of intent for students that are entering new to the district. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how that works at all. And that was provided by, I think, actually, I think you provided the link to that somewhere on your page or
If
on
you
one of
can,
the
can you
pages, but
post
we'll make
it?
sure that is posted on this
Mm-hmm.
below in the comments and the live here. But again, we don't know. We are
Right.
forced to make a decision with with not enough details. And some parents may not even understand what a declaration of intent is. But since the
Right.
district
Right.
sent it, I know that they're going to be providing me what's best for my child. They don't understand that what even a semester is. Yep, they don't realize 18 weeks is to January. And again, it's not to discount that the parent don't care or not concerned. They just
Just
don't
something
know,
informed.
and they figure that the
Yeah.
district is making the best decision or presenting the best opportunities for their children that is presumed to work. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then what happened to those parents that don't have access to the technology in order to make those? Anyway,
Right, because shouldn't have been mailed out, but of course that would cost too much money. Unlike the
the question
renovation of
would
the roadside
become:
building,
did
but that's
mailers go
besides the
out?
point.
That would be a good question.
Right.
Did mailers go out? I didn't
That's
get a mailer,
did mailers go
so
out?
it would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know if a
Right.
mailer went out.
Correct. Because and then on top of that, let's talk about parents whose first language is not English.
Okay, so correction on
How did
my
that
part.
information
Ashley
get to
said
them?
that it is the same 18-week commitment. I guess the language on it just said that if you're new to the district. Is that what it said,
Okay.
Ashley?
So okay. Allow that. Let me say, okay. All right. Cool, Regine. It's the same commitment. Okay. Good. The problem is, let's see, they weren't providing safety information that would be put in place for students at brick and mortar. Parents did not get enough info to make a good decision. True. Guess what, Christina? Teachers ain't getting enough information to make a good decision. That's
So
where
I
we
know
are
for
right
me,
now.
in the event that I had an opportunity to ask questions, I mean, what questions would you all ask? At this point, we can only say ask Superintendent Addison Davis and the board members. What questions would you
Right.
pose to them as it relates to what you're experiencing as a decision maker, but prior to making the decision for entering into a
Mm-hmm.
declaration of intent for your child, children, or even if you are the go-to person for your family, in efforts to educate them on making the best decision for their children. what questions would you have for them? We definitely would like those below, because we definitely will ask them. We have no problem with that.
Yes.
And then
Yeah, we
also,
definitely need to do that.
as an educator, what questions would you have, as it relates to going back into the school? Like, I've seen so many on the CTA page. There's a safe group, safe something something group. Like, there's so many questions that are out there. And my first question would be is, what teachers were involved in during the planning of this decision? Like, how did
The
y'all come to
decision
this
making
decision? That's
process.
number one. And number two, where were they from? Were they from schools in affluent areas that don't already experience what we're talking about as it relates to the lack of being schools being sanitary, or the lack of having your, basic necessities to make sure sanitation is, carried out throughout the day, which is hand soap, paper towels. Don't start the day with a room nasty from the beginning. Like, what type of questions would you ask? And parents, I hope if nothing else, if nothing comes from all of this, that you're more inclined to ask questions from your children and not assume that their classrooms are all clean and schools are nice. If you don't
Correct.
visit your child's school at least one time, let me go back. If you did not visit your child's school at least one time per year, which would be the conference nights, you need to do better. Catch a ride.
Right.
Catch a ride, Uber, you do all that stuff. Go with a
We
friend.
talk about that because if you can make it to the football game,
Sure.
you can make it. You can make it to school, and just here's what I'd like to see from, because now come August is going to be, we're looking at the new school board coming up in August. Here's what I'd like to see from them going forward. Why don't you start inviting people? No, I'm sorry, not people. Let's start over. Start inviting teachers from the D and F schools and have them talk to you about what they need. Don't just say, okay, because you already know A and B, they straight for right now. They got what they need clearly because they're A's and B's, or somehow they managed to become an A and B, but we'll talk about that in a second. But why don't you invite the teachers who are from D and F school to your meetings, to your little closed door meetings, to your whatever it is that you're doing, so that you can actually hear about why there's deficiencies in those schools. And then you can actually make logical decisions. Because if you really believe a DNF school has kids in there that are going to fall, I don't say that all the kids are going to be not respectful of what the rules are. It's just that they've not been conditioned to understand that this is for their safety. So here we know we sending a whole bunch. I remember I look at the news, I watch the videos on Facebook. I saw a video just the other day. Whole bunch of kids, not one mask. So talk to us. Just talk. That's all. People will share with you everything they have if they're invited into an area where they can freely discuss with you what the deficiencies are in the school. Because you got to hear from the people who work there. You got to.
And that does not say that the individuals that you're invited, we're not saying that they didn't bring a wealth of information to the conversation. What we're saying is they probably were handpicked, chosen, selected, versus inviting the disgruntled, progressive teachers. Like me personally, I'm going to be able to voice and get accomplished what I need to get done regardless. So please know that we are not saying you necessarily have to invite us, but invite someone that is going to be honest and not be in fear of the backlash. My first father, my key father, my only father that I'm concerned with anything happening to me, about me, for me, with my family is God. So I just don't worry about anything else when I know what I'm saying and doing is right for children.
Correct.
I know what's happening in the school that I work at, schools that my friends work at, and there are great things that are happening at other schools in the district, and I applaud that and I acknowledge that. I ask how y'all able to do this, can I do it, stuff like that. But the key thing is, until we are able to remove a lot of the barriers and challenges that are happening at schools where the majority of our African American children are going, Hispanic children are going, that live in below poverty, miss me with it.
Right.
Miss me with it. We got to do something different. We got to have those conversations. Those are the uncomfortable conversations that when you don't agree with what's happening, you got to be the problem. No, That's you got to have those types of conversations. The
Right,
challenging
because you
one.
can't fix anything. You got and you got to look at it like from the perspective of your own house. Okay, you may tell me you're gonna pay a $400 a month Tico bill because you got a window that's busted and you just refuse. I'm gonna just put some flowers over it, some a curtain, and that way I ain't gotta look at it, and then it'll just be like that. No, you got to address the issue so you can fix the problem. That's all we saying. Address the issue. It might not be pretty. It ain't gonna be something that's gonna make you comfortable. You're gonna have to look in the mirror and admit, hey man, I've been at fault for a long time. But guess what? It's like ripping off a band-aid. Once that pain gone the first time, now you can move forward and just fix it. That's it. That's
Because
all we
again,
want.
and let us be very clear before we wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
The schools, the majority of the schools, the challenging schools, the schools with the most barriers, the most schools with obstacles that they can't seem to get past, which is the literacy and math fluency. The
Mm-hmm.
children that are going to these schools predominantly, conveniently sit in District 5.
District 5. Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen last year. It didn't happen 5 years ago. It didn't happen 10 years ago. It didn't happen 15 years ago, 20, 25. This been
And
happening.
I wasn't working then. I wasn't even working then.
The question become, because we always want to reference the Black leader needs to be there, the Black this, the Black that. I get the importance of needing to have a seat at the table, a representation of a population of people that for whom they serve. But my question is, how much was done? Because it seems as though it has gotten worse over the years.
It has.
So where was the conversations to bring awareness to all that is where we're at now? What happened? I know I've been tucked in the classroom for 20 years. I will say this,
right.
And I always say I'm a part of the problem because I just was trying to do my classwork, make sure my students was meeting their scores, doing what I need to do for my classroom students and my child and children in my family. I say that I'll take it, put the target on my back too. But I will say within the last 4 to 5 years, no more. Since I found out and started paying attention, no more. I scream it from the mountaintop.
And here's what I'll say as somebody who wasn't even, I never got educated in the United States except for college. Coming in from the outside, when I got here, it was like this. So remember, when I started teaching, my first school was an alternative school. So it wasn't like I started off in a traditional school.
We didn't know it.
Right. So it was like, wait a minute. I started off as a great A school, and there's always been an A school, and everything been perfect, and Hillsborough. No, I started off with, why would I start an alternative school? Okay. Which means there has to be some issues that caused the creation of this school. And that's all. I don't even know another better way to put it other than that.
So Christina says, come out to rally at the school board meeting with the mask and the sign at 4 p.m. on July 7th school board meeting. We need to demand transparency and responsibility for the health of all. I agree with you totally, Christina. So for those that are capable and willing to go out, you are welcome to accept her invitation and do so. Cobb gonna be in the building. I can help the boys create y'all some signs. Like we do our part. We'll make some signs if y'all want them. So let me know. But we can't get out there with them. We can't get out there with y'all. I spent some cases of water. I do the behind the scenes stuff, but I can't get out there with you. Y'all want me to scream and holler on the Facebook Live? I'll do that, but I can't get out there with you all. But I do understand the importance of that work. Jessica says, are they going to level the kids out if there are here?
You heard your governor say we're going back at full capacity. Why are you asking them kind of questions, boo boo? I hear you, but that's lovely. Okay.
So let's hope that our cases going jumping from 5,000 to 7,000 to 10,000. Rona being on the uprising, that it starts to capture the attention of those that's making the decisions.
Stop a second. In the space of time in this broadcast, I just looked at the TV. It's now 129,000 deaths. Didn't I say it was 128 when we started? When we started the broadcast, it was at
And that's
120.
reported. That's reported.
Just
So
okay.
yeah. So one thing about it, post your questions
Ain't
below
nothing else
before
I could
y'all
do.
leave.
Wow.
Start speaking out about how you feel, because we are the
Mm-hmm.
only occupation that much is required, but little is given. That's not
Right.
even lining up to the Bible.
It sure ain't.
No.
It sure ain't. Mm-mm. But the
So,
Bible does speak about righteousness and speaking truth, and that's the most important thing. Speaking truth and righteousness. That's it.
and again, we are
Okay.
responsible for all children. We are responsible for all children, all children. But for some reason or another, African American children are taking the brunt of not receiving an equitable quality education here in our district. And
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why, and I don't know how to fix it. But until we start having those conversations, it's going to be a continuous cycle that, 20 years
Right.
from now, it will be the same conversations, but on a different platform. Maybe we'll have 3D little figures that can pop up in our hands, and we can see the what you call the holograms. Maybe that'll get the attention then. I don't know,
They do like
but
this,
we
like
gotta do
Iron Man.
something
They
different.
pop up like this.
We gotta do
Yeah.
something different. So stay focused on the kids. Don't get caught up in the crazy. If you're not producing,
Right.
if you're not having something to bring to the table for those that have done things in the past, to come help the ones that's doing something now. Don't get mad at what they're doing. Just come help. Come help. And if you
Right.
have the ear of the individual that can make things happen and change it for the betterment of the children in District 5, do something. Don't be a
Right.
gatekeeper with the information. And
And
all
and
the
and just
judges that are getting want to be put into position, pipeline to prison is real. So therefore, it seems as though we need to talk to judges and current prosecutors and
right.
attorneys, because don't nobody own those people. So we want to talk to them too for free. And
Right.
on that note, I'm April Carr with April's Beauty Bar,
I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Diva. And
and
guess
we're
what? Instead of
diversity.
talking about people, check your data. Anyway, I'm sorry. Diversity and equity in
And
education.
education, and we want to thank Bianca Gooseby for hosting us with Teacher for the Culture. Do your part, do something, say something, act on something. Because sitting stagnant
That's
in your
right.
houses, not saying anything, when you know a population of children are not being treated equally as it relates to the quality of their education, you too are part of the problem.
And do your research, for God's sake. Research. Jesus. Are we done? Cut.